two of my favorite designers are in front of me, Juan Montoya and Matthew Smyth. And I have the pleasure of working with both of them. They're amazing. They're not screamers. And they do awesome work. I love them. So here you go, Paulette.
So tonight we're talking about branding. And though interior design is a service-oriented profession, I think one of the arms of that also is branding. And branding really is, simply put, a promise to deliver, and to deliver with satisfaction and quality. So we're going to learn about Juan and Matthew tonight, and also about their experiences with branding and developing this empire. So let's start first with just what your design story is, and what your point of view is from both of you.
Well, what do you want to know about me?
Everything.
Everything. So let's start by saying that I was born in Colombia, South America. I came to the States very early on. I graduated from Parsons School of Design after having done architecture school in South America, Colombia. Then I left to live in Paris, and from Paris I moved to Milan to study furniture design. From there on, in 1978, I opened my own office, and ever since I have been to my office 24/7. Now, you will say to yourself, how is that after all these years you're still doing 24/7? And I say that this is not a job. This is a passion. And if you don't have that passion, you better get out of here right now. Because absolutely is the only way that you can go through so many layers, not only intellectually, physically, and psychologically, that is very important for everyone in the industry to know that it's not a glamorous job as per se. It's glamorous only in the sense that you feel that ultimately the job is going to be completed and you're going to be satisfied, and that you are going to go through a very difficult period, that you are going to really work it, that you are really going to be questioning yourself many times through it. And then at the end, you say, wow, it came better than I thought. So I give you Matthew.
I think I should have gone first. I should never follow Juan. I should have done that. I was born in New York City, but we moved when I was young to upstate New York in a town called Florida. And it was very removed. And I had no idea I was going to be an interior designer. I didn't even know that occupation existed. It was something the nuns would have. I can't imagine telling the nuns I wanted to be an interior designer. And so I lived in upstate New York. When I came to New York, I would tell people I was from Florida, New York, and they assumed it was Palm Beach in New York City. I didn't even know where Palm Beach was at the time, so I had to drop that. But it was, so I fell upon this industry, and I feel very blessed that I did. I was going to be a photographer. I thought it was going to be a few things. And I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. And then I was watching an interview with Katharine Hepburn on Dick Cavett, and she said about, she gave up having children and a family to be an actress, and she said, you can have anything you want as long as you narrow it down. And I thought, okay, that's what I'm not doing. I'm not narrowing it down. And that's to me what branding is. It's narrowing down what you want, or what you want, the path you want to follow. So that's pretty much how I got started. I moved to New York, went to FIT, and knowing that I wanted to work for David Easton. I was already focused on that. And I did. I worked for a few people first, so that if I got fired, it wouldn't be over at that point. And so I went to work for David for almost 7 years, and then started my own firm in '88. And it's been good. It's as Juan would say, it is 24/7. And I tell students and young people working for me, there's no shortcut. It's about hard work, and there's no way around it. And that's what I believe is what keeps me going.
consistency. Well, I think that you can define consistency in terms of what you are aiming, what you are trying to achieve. And through that aspect of learning, making mistakes, redoing, creating, is a path that really carries you through one focal point. If you have that focal point, I think you can achieve that branding that you are asking. So many people say, well, I am great doing construction. I'm great doing lighting. I'm great doing this and that. But they always say, let's do everything at the same time. You can't. You just have to channel your feeling, your orientation, your thought in one direction. And once that direction is achieved, then you focus on the project, on the line that you are going to create, and that you follow through. And it's discipline, and it's also a sense of, this don't bother me. I have to arrive there. So it's always thinking, I have to do this, and I'm going to do it. So it's a determination within yourself that that's what you want to achieve. That goes for painting, that goes for economics, that goes for everything. So here we're talking about in general terms, but it applies to any of us.
And I also think you mentioned before that branding is a promise, but it's also one step beyond that. It's a promise kept, and it's about following through and delivering whatever you promised, and getting the work done. And I think that's what I've consistently tried to do. I mean, I don't overpromise. Sometimes I do, but if I do, I get it done. And I think it's about showing up. It's about returning phone calls. It's about establishing integrity within your industry, to your client base. And and I think it's about keeping your message clear and simple, and not really we're bombarded with details all day long, but we have to keep focused on the big picture. I think that's what that's what I've consistently done.
Where's the satisfaction?
I got so many things in one. I knew you were a philosopher.
Yes.
Anyway, we have to be really conscious of the fact that we have to, again, try to make sure that what you are doing, all your 100% is there. I have seen people that say, oh, I know I can do this very easily and it's no problem. Well, yeah, sure, but the question is that if you want to achieve something to perfection, which perfection apparently doesn't exist, but if you try, is to really think about detail. Design is in the detail. Design is into every aspect of it. You have to deal with it, and you have to be part of it. In other words, when you are designing, you cannot say, well, this is going to go through and it will happen and it will be arriving and it will be there. No, the process is more important than the product, in my own way of thinking. If you go through the process, every part of it, and you take care of it, I'm sure it will be successful. People in my office say, well, I call him, but he didn't call back. Call back. You have to be there 24/7. So it's very important that we all here tonight know that it's not casual. This is not a business of being casual. This is a business of being involved. And if you are not involved, you are not going to succeed.
And I also think, we were talking about before, was the, as I said, it's about showing up, and it's about, and by showing up, it's, even when you go to the D&D building, just to shop, you're branding yourself with your suppliers, with the other designers that you meet. So you're always working on it. And I do think, you're already a brand to begin with, so the question is managing your brand before somebody else does. So you really want to establish your image out there and your integrity with your clients, with your suppliers, with contractors. And I do think it never ends. You do it on the weekends, you do it at night, you're at home, getting on Facebook, whatever you need to do. It's all day. So, and then balancing work on top of that. It's all part of the process. And as I said, there's no shortcut. You just have to do it all.
I think PR is, I would say, 90%, maybe 95%. And in my case, I don't have a PR agent because I don't want somebody behind me telling me what to do. So I have good connections, I always had, and I always talk to the people. I always talk to the editors. I always see what they are looking for. And I'm always very candid. I am not afraid. If you are afraid or you suppose that the person is going to say something before you say it, then it's a problem. But if you candidly say, I have this project and I want to show it to you, and I think it's great, and you feel that and you sense that, the person is going to sort of say, maybe, yeah, show me, let me see what it is. So, yes, publicity, PR is all integrated. So I think that, unfortunately, as I said, 90% has to do with publicity and has to do with PR. And the PR is not only based on magazines, but the PR is every day. It's every day as you walk through the D&D or through this building or 200 Lexington or any place. It's your persona. This is a business of a persona. You are the business. You represent the business. I can have 20 people working for me, but at the end of the day, if it's a problem, it's me, nobody else, and I have to pay the consequence. So I have to make sure that everybody in the staff knows that they are carrying their work according to my thinking. Maybe right, maybe wrong, but that's how I decided. And on the other hand, the PR helps you, vitalize you, when they say your project is going to be published. That's great, it's fabulous. Maybe it won't bring a job, but it brings you satisfaction that something has been done and has been recognized.
I think one of the key things about branding and for yourself is that you have to sum up what your strengths and weaknesses are, right? You have to face them. And early on, I realized that one of my weaknesses was that I was painfully shy. 10 years ago, I could never be standing up here, and I've worked at it, and it's still not easy, but it's So I hired Mike Stroll, who is a PR agent, and he doesn't tell me what to do. He doesn't tell me what to do. He just takes the product to the editor. Sure, he just takes the product to the editors, and he was a great help in the beginning because I don't think I could have done that myself at all. And when I just had a book come out last year, and I hired Christina Juarez to promote that for me, and she's an expert on that, and it worked well for me doing that. But at this point, I do have my own connections now. I could make a phone call and do things that I do. But it's PR is any kind of PR is good. I mean exposure in magazines, and it doesn't necessarily have to be one big hit. It could be spread out over smaller magazines, periodicals. I was just this week I'm on the cover of Litchfield magazine, which is a small magazine, and it came out Friday. And yesterday a client called, and I'm seeing him Saturday. It rarely happens, and it's a pretty good job. So you just never know where it's going to come from.